What's up, everybody? We're back. Unwired Appalachian podcast. Special guest in today, Pikeville head coach Elisha Justice. That means the season's coming up. Elisha, early on, I know you're all still in the practice stuff. Season doesn't kick off yet. You probably got a few football guys out still. Very, very early, but how's things going on this early in the season for you guys?
Yeah, it'll be a lot better once we get our whole team out there for sure. But this time of year, it's the hard part. These guys, they kind of to that point, just going against the same guys every day in practice and battling each other, competing every day. And I think they're kind of ready to just get a look at somebody else, and all of us just be on the one team and see what we can do together. But guys are excited. I'm excited. Got our first scrimmage coming up next week, so we're ready to put it all out there on the floor.
Going to have some good guys back. Just kind of talk about some of the leaders on this team. I imagine Jackson Keene is probably one of those guys. Just kind of talk about some of the leaders on this team because, as a point guard, when you used to play, leadership's huge on the floor. You got to have guys you can trust to tell the other guys what to do. Just kind of talk about some of the leadership you have on this team.
Yeah, Jackson's been great. He's really stepped up into that role. Being vocal with the younger guys and seeing things happening on the floor. And I've always tried to give my leaders on the team a little bit of freedom to make reads and make decisions on the floor. If you see something, if you really feel like you need to change the call, change the call. And I try to give my guys that freedom to do those things, and then they can learn by doing that, learn on the fly a little bit. But he's been great, being a leader and helping the new guys adjust as well. And I tell you, Carter Parsons has been a big surprise for us too. Just the kid's got such a great attitude. I think people's watched him score the ball over the years, but man, he is unselfish. He'll make the extra pass, the one more pass every time, and do what is best for the team. And those are the kinds of things that he has shown me, and I love seeing that. And I tell you, another guy that really gets us going, and he doesn't do it as much vocally, but he does it by example, is Grant Hall. The kid just busting his tail every possession, every trip down the floor, both ends of the floor, doing all the dirty work, the little things, loose balls. And then that tends to carry over. He's a big lift with his energy. And then once that starts bleeding over to the other guys, we can be pretty good.
Yeah, and I think those two are his major additions. Hall, very, very good on the defensive side, very good passer, like you said. You guys like to start a lot of your stuff with the defensive side. Just kind of talk about some of your better defensive guys and how this team can come together defensively. Just kind of talk about the defensive side for you guys this year, because that's huge for you guys. You get a lot of easy baskets.
And we've always took pride in being able to score in a half court, but even coming out of a timeout, being able to execute and get get something quick and easy out of a set that we designed. But the fewer times that we have to do that, if we can get out in transition, we can create some turnovers, allow us to get out and run, score before defense can get set, then the less that we're having to set something up every single time, and then speeds the game up and play a little faster pace, which is what we want to do as well.
Yeah, I know last year you probably lost some of your inside play with EB and some of those guys. I think Burgett comes back. Just kind of talk about the inside, because guard-wise you should be pretty deep, I would imagine. But I would imagine probably inside game is where you probably got the most, probably lost the most last year, I'd imagine.
Yeah, we really don't have a true five. We not just losing the inside presence, but we lost a lot of size with EB and Ian both.
Mm-hmm.
Our every bit of length that we seem to have, lost all that, and the way EB could dominate a game by just going and grabbing every rebound. So you lose a lot of that. We are a lot smaller, so we're going to have to do things a little bit different than what we did, play a little bit faster, be a little scrappier, make the game a little uglier. And I think the more we can do that, we can get out and run. I think that's where our guys are going to be comfortable.
Yeah, I think you got a lot of athleticism and talent too. Even some of the guys probably playing football probably haven't come in, but once they come in, they'll probably make a presence. Coach Sloan is a guy, for example, who I thought played really well for y'all last year, especially down the stretch. Just kind of talk about some of these guys from the football field. I know it's probably kind of it's kind of a double edged sword for you. You want to see them do good on the football field, but you also probably want to see them come back in as soon as you can.
Yeah, it's good seeing these kids be competitive in everything that they do. Because you want winners. That's what you want on your team. And for me, it don't matter what I'm playing. Like I expect to win. And so I like having that mindset. Those guys that they're expected to win a football championship. When they come to basketball, the same thing expected. We playing for championship. So, but yeah, like you said, Cole Sloan, he's going to be a big piece of the puzzle for us. He's going to be. I think he's going to be a difficult matchup. What we've seen this summer, a lot of people was playing their 5-man on Cole. I haven't really seen a 5-man that can guard Cole Sloan on the perimeter because he's pretty quick. He shoots it well. So I think it's going to be tough for certain lineups to match up with us. And I tell you, get Mikey Hager off the football field. He's coming back this year and he wants to play. His speed and strength and athleticism, I think that's going to be a huge force on the defensive end as well.
Yeah, just kind of talk about that. Some of these guys who play football, it seems like anytime you can get a little bit of athleticism and a little bit of physicality, it's a good thing on the basketball court as well. Just kind of talk about when you get those guys that kind of help you out in that way, in that regard.
Yeah, and with us not having as much size, we're going to have to rely more on our strength and being in the right positions and things. And that's where Mikey, I think, is really going to come into play. Well, him and Cole both, is going to make us stronger. Hopefully be able to move people out of the paint a little bit. I tell you who else has got some strengths to him is Braden Bolden. That I'm excited about. He has played really well in practice. I'm expecting a big senior year out of him. And that's what we're going to have to rely on is these guys. We may not be the biggest, but we're going to have to use our strength and our speed and, our smarts to, do what we need to do on both ends.
Yeah, switch it up a little bit. I mean, 59th district's only 3 teams now. I mean, it's been that way for a long time, but those 3 teams are usually pretty good. Just kind of talk about this district play and how that kind of helps you prepare a little bit. You're going to get 2 good games from 15th region teams in the regular season.
Yeah, I think when you look at the different districts, we've all been up and down, had our better years, and had the years where we struggled a little bit. And Shelby Valley, they return about everybody, so they're, I think they'll be one of those teams right there at the top. They're going to be there, competitive, ready to play, and they play hard. So when you got teams that's got the talent, and then especially when you go on the road in the region and in these big rivalry games, it's they're all tough.
Mm-hmm.
Not just in your district, but in the region. It's competitive right now. I feel like for the last couple of years, you got 5-6 teams that could literally beat anybody on a given night. If you look last year, the team that won it got beat first round of the district. So that kind of shows you how wide open our region is. And I think it's going to be similar to that this year.
Yeah, and like you said, the region. And I don't know your feelings on the super region, but it seems like some people love it, some people hate it. But in the case like you guys, it makes that number 1 seed and win to that district tournament even more important. Just kind of talk about what that does for you guys and putting that emphasis on the district play because it really makes you want to go in there because anything can happen if you don't get that 1 seed.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't think that we should be doing anything different than the rest of the state. To me, that doesn't make any sense. If either we all do it or we all don't. I don't think that our region is any more special than the 14th or 13th or anybody else. So, I don't like being viewed at, from these people on the outside, like, well, why do they get to do it? I think we should be doing it the same way as everybody else. That's just my thoughts. But regardless, whether we do it or whether we don't do it, for us, the goal's the same. We want the 1 seed in the district, and then we want to win the district tournament, and we want to get to that final 8 of the region. And so, either way.
Yeah, I know, this long season, and we don't want to put you in the but if you guys come together and play well and keep improving throughout the season, how good can this team be by the end of the season?
Yeah, I think for sure we can be a contender. The way these guys right now have shown that they're going to buy in, and they're gonna if they continue to be unselfish and learn every single day. And of course you got to stay healthy. That's a big thing, and you got to have your key players out there, to have a chance. But I think if we do all those things, I think that we'll be right there in the mix, and have the opportunity if we can put three in a row together to win.
All right. Anything else you want to add about the season? I mean, I think we hit on most of the things, unless there's something else that I missed that you want to talk about. Any guys that you want to give extra
Well,
to?
yeah, for sure. One guy that I didn't mention, and I think is going to be a big piece for us this year as well, is Mark Bowling, and I think he's one of the smarter players in the region. He understands how to play the game, and I think he playing alongside Grant, especially, it's almost like you playing 2 point guards out there together. Just keeps our offense and everything that much more under control. But on top of that, you can't leave him or it's 3 points. So, we got a lot of good pieces, and I'm excited to just watch as these guys grow, get better every day, and see what we can be by the end of the year.
Yeah, and that leads me to another thing. You're all at guard are just going to be, unbelievable. But you said that it's almost like having 2 point guards, but you could probably at some point, if you have Jackson on the court with some of those guys and Carr, you could almost have like a point guard almost at every position if you really wanted to. I'd imagine. I mean, just talk about that depth and that luxury of having the guard depth, because this very rare you get that many good guards on the team.
Yeah, and a lot of people think it's a bad thing when you got a lot of guys maybe that's just played the point guard position. But I tell you, one of the best teams I ever played on was that U Pike with alongside me you had Chris, you had Deuce Briscoe, you had Josh Whitaker,
Yeah.
all these guys that was used to playing the point guard position, and I felt like it made our offense that much more electric. It didn't matter who got the ball. We're getting out on the break, we're kicking that thing out the side, and we're rolling right into our offense. And it was a fun way to play. It was fun being able to play on and off the ball. So I'm excited to have these guys playing alongside each other.
I'm sure it probably gives you a lot of options on defense as well, and you're a defensive guy, so you're probably excited about that as well, right?
Yeah, we're having fun with it right now. We're trying to just figure some things out that we think is going to work for us, and hopefully we'll be able to switch it up and just keep people on their toes a little bit.
All right, for everybody who doesn't know, just when does your season kick off, and we'll end on that?
We got our first scrimmage next week, Friday at Shelby Valley, playing Huntington Expression Prep. The following week on Saturday, I believe we'll be at Betsy Lane playing Elliott County. That'll take up our 2 scrimmages, and then we'll open on, I believe it's December the 4th at Knott County.
All right, for everybody, we'll try to get up through the season with some of his players and stuff. We're shooting this during the day, but they're probably in class, so we'll try to get up with some of the kids, before the season, during the season, whatever. But for Elisha Justice, I'm Randy White. Rick's behind the camera. Be sure to follow our social media, like, comment, whatever. We'll just kind of stay tuned, and we'll keep trying to bring as many coaches and players before the season as we can.